In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm. Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the academia, you need to steel yourself. You can't be afraid.
Oh, Candace, you're still fighting? You've been out here dealing with these creatures the entire time?
She's a goat, bro.
Yes. They just keep coming in waves. I've lost count of how many I've defeated. Before I realized it, even the sandstorm had stopped.
Not only is she strong, her stamina is also something else. Hey, y'all.
Here comes another wave!
Leave this round to us. I got interrupted earlier.
It's been quite a while since I've seen the flame mane in action. I'll leave these to you then.
Okay.
I'll be sure to put on a good show. Let's go!
The creatures stopped appearing. Was that the last of them?
Yeah.
What we fought just now was probably the aftermath of the sandstorm. So we should be safe for the time being.
Okay.
Well fought, everyone. No injuries, I hope.
Huh? Who are you?
Who are you?
My apologies. I haven't had a chance to greet you yet. I had my hands full taking care of the village's elderly and children.
So you?
I am the chief of Aru Village. Everyone usually calls me Uncle Anpu.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Sorry for all the trouble.
Sir, I am also originally from the desert, but I have not been back for some time now. May I ask if such sandstorms are common?
I can't say they've always been common, but recently the storms have become increasingly severe and frequent. Besides sandstorms, we also occasionally get earthquakes. According to an investigator who stayed in the village a while ago, these unusual natural phenomena are related to the withering of Irminsul.
Another effect of Irminsul's withering. So, Irminsul's withering causes withering zones in the forest, and sandstorms and earthquakes here in the desert?
Everything in the natural world is inextricably connected to Irminsul. These regional symptoms can indeed be a reflection of Irminsul's present state.
Everyone in Aru Village needs to take good care of themselves. Speaking of which, why haven't I seen a single village keeper since I got here?
Village
Who
keeper?
are the village keepers?
Who are they? Village guards like Candace?
Does your curiosity know no bounds? Village Keeper is how Aru Village refers to mad scholars exiled here by the academia. Most of them are scholars who lost their sanity after a period of training in the Avidia forest. The academia believes that their crazed mutterings may have a negative effect on the psyches of other scholars. So, they're forcibly exiled to the desert. Though if you ask me, it's all a boatload of nonsense.
Tanhari also brought this up before. Hypatia was also nearly exiled in the desert.
Alas, that's exactly what we've been trying to investigate. One by one, the village keepers have been mysteriously disappearing without a trace. But no one in the village has ever seen them leave. If you're planning to stay around the village for the next few days, I'd appreciate it if you could keep an eye out for them.
I've had encounters with those people in the past. I'll see what I can do to help.
The Matra are the ones responsible for their exile. Now that you're no longer with them, are you trying to alleviate your guilt and atone for your past sins? I'm fascinated by how you think.
Mock me if you will, but if you are guilty, I will eliminate you, regardless of my position or identity.
Oh, you're the former General Mahamatra. You must be an expert in these kinds of investigations. Thank you for your help.
I'll help you too.
Is it because you're reminded of Hypatia? Oh, these poor scholars. First they lose their sanity, now this! We need to help get them back home, safe and sound. But, is it really a good idea to tag along with Sino? You seem like you really don't trust him.
That's why this is a great opportunity to watch him.
I'll be grateful for the assistance. No doubt you will do a better job than some of my former subordinates.
Oh, thank you.
Let's start by finding a spot to share what we know so far.
Listen. General Mahamatra.
Although I've sent myself into exile, I'm still doing essentially the same things as before. Do you still have any questions for me before we start our investigation?
Okay. Why do they refer to the Mad Scholars as village keepers?
One of my former subordinates told me that this title has its origins in a strange incident. The Academia has long exiled mad scholars to Aru Village. A mysterious phenomenon exists here. When mad scholars first arrive, they are as incoherent and deranged as before. But after spending some time here, they invariably begin to calm down. Initially, the people of Aru Village greatly resented having to take in the mad scholars. But a strange incident one night changed that. Aru Village was struck by the strongest earthquake in living memory. Seeing buildings on the verge of collapse all around him, the then chief of the village was preparing to take everyone to safety. Suddenly, he noticed a mad scholar crouching in a corner, caressing the ground with his hands. A soft, green light radiated from him, like a divine glow against the backdrop of night. Despite the powerful tremors that ripped through the ground that night, all the houses remained upright, almost as if they had grown roots reaching deep into the ground. In the end, not a single building collapsed, and no one was hurt. After that, the people of Aru Village treated the mad scholars with greater kindness, and began to refer to them as the village keepers.
The soft green light? A mad scholar protecting Aru Village?
That's Nahida.
What do you make of it, Traveler?
That's Nahida.
I would think so too. Actually, Sino, do you know if any of the mad scholars continued to wear their Akasha terminals at Aru Village?
In theory, they would continue wearing them so the Academia could still monitor their activities. With that said, the main Akasha system would no longer have any interaction with them.
Oh, no wonder! Everything makes sense then! Add in the fact that they calmed down, it was probably Nahida who calmed them.
If you are able to draw a conclusion from this one story alone, then it appears you possess much more information than I do. So, what do you make of the story?
The Mad Scholars' power likely came from Lesser Lord Kusanali. Lesser Lord Kusanali was actually the one who protected the village.
Really?
Yeah.
Lesser Lord Kusanali.
What? You don't believe us? Lesser Lord Kusanali was definitely using the Akasha to give her power to the mad scholars!
No, it's not so much that I don't believe you. I'm just struck by your reasoning. Lesser Lord Kusanali, the current Dendro Archon. Is she really active in Sumeru? The Academia has always placed far greater importance on the late Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. They've more or less ignored Lesser Lord Kusanali, and I've never had any reason to doubt their views. In addition, I've never heard any stories about Lesser Lord Kusanali and her deeds. To me, she might as well have been a god that never existed.
No way!
That's way too
Nahida
sad.
definitely exists! She's a... how should Paimon put it? She's a good Archon who's kind and wise, even if she says weird stuff sometimes.
She also saved me once not long ago.
I've spent many years interrogating criminals. so I can easily tell when someone is lying.
Look me in the
Then you
eyes.
should know that we're telling the truth.
That look in your eyes.
Yeah.
I've never seen that from a liar. You two really must have met Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Yeah.
How can this be? To think, our Archon has been amongst us this entire time.
All right, now it's our turn to put our skills to good use for this investigation.
You betcha.
But easier said than done, especially since we don't have any leads. Maybe we can start by knocking on some doors.
Excuse me, are you here to help me find my grandpa?
Who the hell are you?
Who are you?
Huh?
By the sounds of it, a resident of this village.
My name is Isak. You'll help me find my grandpa, right?
Okay. Mihoyo, what do you have with little kids not having their relatives with them? Mihoyo, what the
Is your grandpa a mad scholar?
Hey, don't say that. Grandpa is just Grandpa. Why do you have to call him that? It's not like he's a bad person or anything.
Put it
The
another
person
way.
you're referring to is not a local, yet you are. Why do you call him Grandpa?
Grandpa is just Grandpa. He's my family.
My family.
I heard everything you said to the village chief. Please, you gotta take me with you. I want to find my grandpa. I swear I'll help. I won't be a nuisance.
Ah, so you're the one who was eavesdropping on us around the village chief's house. I was planning to go out and take care of whoever it was, but I had a vague feeling that they didn't harbor any ill intent.
Whoa. Ethan wasn't kidding about Matra having sharp senses. Sino, he's just a kid. All he wants is to find his grandpa. Let's find a way to help him.
Sorry. I was only listening in because I wanted to know where Grandpa went. Honest. If you don't believe me, you can ask Miss Candace.
Please. Let's help him, Sino.
All right. But first, let's confirm the facts with Candace.
Sino is super vigilant. Is this what all the Matra are like?
Ah, you're back already.
We just wanted to confirm something with you. Do you know a boy by the name of Isak?
I had a feeling he'd go looking for you.
Oh,
Huh? You knew this would happen?
I guess so.
Yes. Although he tried his best to stay hidden, I still noticed him eavesdropping outside the window. He really wants to get his grandfather back. Isak's parents were both Aramite mercenaries who rarely returned to the village after finding employment in the city. He was raised by his grandfather.
So are his parents still alive, or...?
Unfortunately, it was only a few years before his grandpa passed away.
Oh.
Isak was still very young at the time, so various families in the village took turns caring for him so he could survive.
Okay.
Later, an elderly mad scholar arrived at the village. Isak thought the scholar bore a striking resemblance to his grandfather, and thus often spied on the man. However, the scholar was unkempt in appearance and incoherent in speech. Although Isak referred to the man as his grandpa, he was afraid and didn't dare to approach him. One summer night, the oft mumbling and bumbling grandpa suddenly calmed down and seemed to become more lucid. He even noticed Isak hiding in the distance. So Grandpa walked up to Isak and patted him on the head. He even took Isak to the entrance of the village, where he patiently taught the boy the names of the stars, and accompanied Isak until he fell asleep.
Okay.
The next morning, Isak woke up and wanted to go find his grandpa again, only to realize his grandpa no longer recognized him. However, even so, Grandpa retained his calm expression. It's said that those who saw the scholar claimed he no longer appeared to be crazy, but appeared to be living in his own world, almost as if he were sleepwalking. Isak was thrilled that his grandpa was able to find peace, and would follow him all the time, asking him things like, "Grandpa, want me to take you somewhere fun?" Or, "Grandpa, could you tell me stories about the stars again?"
All this somehow just makes Paimon feel really sad. It seems like they both deserve so much better.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Nearly everyone who lives in the desert has some form of hardship or regret. But even so, we must still continue on with our lives. It's also my reason for fighting. I must continue to protect this land.
Maybe the people have always had a considerate god watching over them.
Huh? What did you say, Sino?
No, nothing. As long as Esau keeps his word and doesn't get in our way, we can take him along.
Perhaps you are more compassionate than I gave you credit for. Please accept my thanks on Isak's behalf, Sino.
Hey, Isak!
Hey, the music.
It's you guys.
We've cleared everything up. Let's go find your grandpa.
Really? Wow. Thank you so much.
Your grandpa will be found safe and sound.
Yeah.
Don't worry, bro.
Alright. Let's ask the local residents some questions first.
Okay, so I will be back. I'll be back. Okay, my question is, where is Al Haytham? He's been, please, God, oh God.
Let's get some food in us and then we'll... Woo!
Stop always being true what I'm saying. God damn it. Please. I can see the future, okay? I am the prophet.
Where did you come from?
Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting here and reviewing what we have deduced thus far.
So, you've heard us menacing those three individuals?
You were gone for ages, and now you're suddenly sitting here musing to yourself? Where have you been anyway?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, shut up, Paimon.
Hey, what's with the silence?
You never think things through before asking questions. I'm giving you some time to make up for that.
I'm giving you some time to do that.
Paimon's so mad! Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname!
Okay, go ahead, I won't stop you.
Never mind. Paimon's got nothing. There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this guy. It makes it so hard.
Well, you've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time. So clearly, I stayed in the village to investigate. Anyway, you plan to leave Aru village and keep searching for the truth of this matter, yes?
Yep. We're not gonna find out anything more by staying here, so we thought that we might as well take the search elsewhere. Enough with the
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him.
Alhaitham, you haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru Village. Bold of you to question our choices.
That's true.
Yeah, you're all talk.
He's going to say something really
While you were
intelligent right now.
investigating, I had my own work to do, which I've now finished.
Okay, what is it?
Paimon doesn't believe you.
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you of my whereabouts.
Okay, thank you.
Not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that you all had missed.
Huh? Right here in the village?
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But before that, you need to understand where she's coming from.
What does that mean?
How do you think the residents of Aru Village feel about what we're doing?
Do you think they lie to us?
In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
Yeah.
You mean
sure.
some of them lied to us?
Oh, sure.
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate to lying. Again, these people have their reasons. Remember what Gandis said? Most people in Aru Village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge of Sumeru. That's because whether King Deshret or the Dendro Archon has power is of little significance to them. By contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share everything they know with you without good reason. That's why you believed there was no further information to be found in this village.
So you're saying we can find new info from someone we've already spoken
Glad
to?
you're following along.
Yep.
Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, she's been observing your every move since you arrived. The reason being, to someone who only wants to live their life in peace, any external factors introduce unpredictability into the equation.
Those eyes. Those fierce eyes. You look like a real fighter.
Don't change the subject.
It's
it's
quite obvious that she's intimidated by Sino's authority and strength.
Okay, so you were there.
You were asking about the the mad scholars.
Oh.
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are King Deshret fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers, she could easily make herself the radicals' next target.
Oh, she's intelligent.
It's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so I'm not too familiar with what goes on at night.
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement in anything that occurs at night.
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've helped me in the past. If it weren't for them, my house would have collapsed long ago.
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru Village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much awake during that time.
Then why would she lie?
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to herself. As for why she might be so wary about all this, maybe you should ask her.
I'll pass on this one. You said that she is afraid of me. If so, it's best if I stay out of this.
We're on it!
Knock, knock, knock.
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier, I've brought someone with me.
Mr. Alhaitham, I'm aware of where you stand, but how can I make sure that your friends think the same as you?
Huh? What do you mean? We need to clarify our stance or something?
Go ahead and talk to her. You'll get the answers you want. Go on. Earn her trust.
Is it really that simple?
Paimon, shut up, let me talk.
May I call you Traveler?
Sure thing. Hi, Miss Shawnee.
Hi, Traveler. I want to ask you something.
Do you think the resurrection of King Deshret can truly change Sumeru for the better?
No,
Why's that?
because it only results in conflict.
That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends. That's why I'm willing to talk to you, even though I do have some reservations. Before, I wouldn't even have the courage to ask something like this. Traveler, do you believe our lives will get better?
Yeah. I can't promise anything, but I'll do the best I can.
Yeah, we came here from another nation, so it isn't wrong of you to be weary. And we aren't really residents of any one nation.
Yeah.
But even so, we've met lots of people from different places, and we've always fought for what we believed in. We have friends in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay here for a while.
I want to trust you.
Oh,
My
Miss Shani.
apologies for posing my questions like that.
Thank you.
To be honest,
Beautiful.
I didn't expect you to come back for more information.
Al-Haytham told us you have your reasons. It's okay. We understand.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. I don't really fit in anywhere in Sumeru.
Oh.
Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in King Deshret. I don't belong to either side, and neither side would want me.
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they just think that anyone who's different from them is a traitor?
Yeah. Some people can be so narrow-minded when it comes to bloodline and beliefs. It makes no difference what I say or how I behave. I'll always be suspected of having ulterior motives. Slowly, I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything. All I want is to live my life in peace. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about it to anyone. Until now.
Okay.
You can tell them. I'm sure he'll keep your secret.
All right. I'll tell you what I told Al-Haytham. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes, I hear strange crying sounds in the night.
There are ghosts?
Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It comes from far away in the distance, and always carries very raw emotion. It used to be louder and more frequent, but ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often, and when it does, it's much quieter. I have to focus really hard to make it out.
I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's heard similar sounds at night.
Okay.
But, because we're in the middle of a desert, he would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts.
Could you make out where the sounds were coming from?
There's really nothing around these parts, except for an old hospital not far from the village.
Okay.
I think they used to use it for treating Elazar, but it's been abandoned for years.
We need to check out the hospital.
Let's go!
Is that hospital haunted?
They were easier to deal with than Paimon had expected. Super strong bandits? Or monsters taller than buildings dropping out of the sky? Or, something like that. He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
This is the one.
Oh. Why didn't they just show his skill? Maybe they didn't want to spoil the skill. Huh?
Let's go in and take a look.
Was I hike them out during this moment or not? You carefully search for the abandoned. In the abandoned.
Hey, Haytham, we haven't found Squad. Are
Fuck
you
this.
sure we aren't wasting our time here?
I'm tired as fuck, bro.
Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then, I'm taking a break.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, he even brought a book to read? What are you reading? Let Paimon see!
Okay, sure.
Huh? The natural position, which is the positional propensity of an entity in natural motion in contrast with an object in forced motion? Huh? When free from external influences, every entity displays the tendency to follow its natural trajectory?
That is physics. Paimon, the fact that it's you who's reading it, you're making it sound really hard. The natural position, which is the position propensity of an entity in the natural motion in contrast with an object in forced motion. When free from external influences, every entity displays the tendency to follow its natural trajectory. Paimon, the fact that you say that...
You got that?
Nah, of course
Oh,
not.
Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book. See ya.
Can I read with you, Haitham?
How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this.
Okay. You know, it wouldn't kill you to read the book once in a while either.
Hey,
Either.
Paimon's your Tibet travel guide. Paimon knows plenty of useful stuff already. And
I'm
anyway,
not so sure.
it's not Paimon's fault that the books people read in Sumeru are so complicated.
Okay, Paimon's the best.
Paimon's getting so sleepy.
What the fuck was the sound?
What was that sound?
There it is. It's coming from that direction.
It is creepy, bro.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
Oh, indoor.
Below.
Oh.
But there's no way we can get down there.
Just push the fucking
Something
thing.
is off about the interior here.
Yeah. What the fuck? Did we just hear
As
something?
I thought, there's a hidden structure.
Wow. It's like they tucked another hospital into this one.
Okay, the guy cried so loud we could hear him from outside.
Well, it looks like there are other mechanisms around here. Let's keep exploring. Huh? Look, there's someone over there.
We need to be careful.
Good idea. Let's approach him slowly without alarming him.
He's really panicked. He looks really panicked. Was he studying?
Wait,
Are you Grandpa Isaac?
you're...
Oh, you know him?
He can't speak, and his eyes are unfocused. But he looks too young to be anyone's grandfather. Also, why is he the only one here?
Didn't expect to see him here.
Oh, you know
You
him?
know him?
Yep.
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the academia.
He's a scholar too? Is he the kind that holes up in a forest and mumbles stuff about training?
No. And that's the problem. Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life.
So how did he become like this?
Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone means that we might be too late.
Yeah.
Looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. Perhaps they simply didn't have time to come back for him.
Maybe. Did they
There
really
are drag
drag
marks
them?
on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that was loaded with something heavy.
Loaded with people?
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry, as if they were afraid of being caught. In their haste, they failed to notice Razak hiding in a corner. The symptoms are identical. Looks like we found living proof.
Huh? Why do you say that?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time at Port Ormos.
Oh.
Don't you think
the
his
divine
symptoms
knowledge
look familiar?
Yeah. The divine thing. Divine capsule, divine capsule. The eremite who went mad.
Oh, now that you mention it, they're acting the same way.
Correct. The Academia is behind all of this. It isn't difficult to deduce their rationale.
First, the Academia spread a false rumor of King Deshret's resurrection,
emphasizing the role of the village keepers, the mad scholars who were exiled to Aru village. These rumors were all the persuasion that the radicals needed, and those based in Aru village leapt into action. Unbeknownst to them, of course, through rounding up the scholars, they were actually helping the Academia. As well as being able to exploit the radicals for their own ends, this scheme has one further advantage to the Academia.
all the risks and responsibilities are offloaded onto King Deshret's followers. Life for the desert dwellers has been brutal ever since King Deshret's death all those years ago.
Beneath the surface, feelings of desperation are widespread.
Yeah.
Many would give everything they have for the prospect of something better. Anyone looking to exploit that for their own ends simply needs to make a few empty promises.
Even if complications arise, people will see that those involved are all followers of King Deshret,
and look for no further explanation than differences of belief.
Yeah.
The notion of an academia plot wouldn't even cross their minds. It may seem like a simple strategy, but it is able to work wonders under Sumeru's current circumstances.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's in line with the village chief's theory, too.
Yeah.
But there's still one very important question. Wasn't it the academia that brought the scholars to Aru village in the first place? Why does it want them back now?
So my theory was correct because it expands, I may say, because they seem to have used the knowledge capsule. They need the people who are in contact with the divine knowledge and put it into Scaramouche.
Throughout this process, one thing has changed: the scholars' identity.
Oh?
First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles. And finally, they become missing persons.
Lunatic scholars who are exiles.
An exile is still patently a living, breathing human being. But when someone becomes a missing person, that is brought into question. If you can't find someone, you have no way of knowing what exactly happened to them. That makes missing people an ideal resource.
Resource? For what exactly?
One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Extracted? You mean canned knowledge comes from people's brains?
With the technology of the Sumeru Academia, it's entirely possible. Perhaps the process caused them great suffering, which is why they cry out in the dead of night when no one is watching them.
So, the human brain... Nope, nah, Hyman doesn't want to think about this.
How did you learn of this technology?
I'm the Academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their projects. Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his mind. But something went wrong in the process. Or perhaps his curiosity got the better of him, and he used such a capsule for himself.
Hyman's a little confused. Can they just use anyone's brain?
No, this can't be right. Most of the mass scholars had made contact with the divine consciousness in the folder. That's what I said! It's also safe to assume that this knowledge has something to do with Fatu, with the Doctor and the Baldir, the using of divine knowledge capsule to turn the
look on your
Baldir into a
face
god.
tells me you've realized the answer.
I'm a fucking goat, bro. I said it. I called it. The Academia needs people who have been exposed to divine consciousness.
That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods is their entire life's pursuit. Extracting canned knowledge is just one of the extreme measures they turn to. However, I can't help but wonder, what do they seek to gain from divine knowledge? The Academia is going out of their way to look for forbidden knowledge, but what is their ultimate goal? I've spent quite some time trying to analyze the contents of the divine knowledge capsule, but to no avail. It seems like my way of thinking is too different from theirs.
You mean you're not even slightly interested in getting your hands on this forbidden stuff?
All scholars seek to expand the horizons of knowledge, but I'm not particularly interested in gods, so I don't share their degree of zealotry. Extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects? If this is the direction of academic progress, then the Academia may as well shut its doors.
Sounds like you're really against all this.
Of course. The Academia's actions run contrary to their rules. Whether it be academics or knowledge, everything has its boundaries. If those lines are crossed, the rules and order that govern everything in the world will be destroyed. This matter needs to be corrected, just like fixing a typo in a book.
Wait, didn't you step in to help because you felt sympathy for those poor people?
Not to be callous, but no. My criteria are a little more restrictive than that. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru, and the same can be said for the rest of Teyvat as well. What do you plan to do about that? Save every last person?
Probably not. Paimon's not sure.
Your motives are more specific and personal.
You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place my faith into strength or heroism. I do what I want. The Divine Knowledge Capsule is something I want to investigate in full. That doesn't mean I'm willing to take action for the sake of a few strangers.
Though he rejects the notion of greater moral responsibility, he justifies his actions because they are true to his personal motivations. Someone like him might actually make a better ally.
Paimon's been wanting to say this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the Academia, but you're not one of them. You're their weirdo.
You're probably right. Though I must say, I quite enjoy this feeling of being the odd one out. Uniqueness is also an asset, is it not?
It is.
Wow, that's a great way to think about it. Paimon's really impressed. If only Miss Shani had a similar mindset, her life would definitely be a lot easier.
I'm just a more likable person than her in general. There's nothing more to it than that.
Okay, you don't need to slay her like that. So what do we do with him?
He won't last long if we leave him here. Let's take him with us.
Okay.
We'll work out our next step after we return to Aru Village.
You think that of it again? You nigga munch, tell me what you really think about dance. I think that I'm becoming full. A little more. A little.
We're back!
You must be tired.
Hello,
You
beauty.
should rest and take some water.
Yeah, and we have a guy whose name is Razak.
What's the situation?
Unfortunately, somebody who's too young to take on the role of Isak's grandfather.
What's it gonna do?
Never.
Okay, I'm so sorry. You tell everyone what you saw in the abandoned hospital.
So, at one point in time, the abandoned Elazar Hospital served as the Academia's site for extracting divine cant knowledge.
Yep, pretty much.
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru Village, since divine cant knowledge has been in circulation for a while now. Yet, they fled once we were headed to the village, almost as if they knew we were on their trail. Why is that?
Yeah, why is that?
We may have a mole in our midst.
Oh,
One
Haytham.
of us could be secretly revealing our whereabouts to the academia.
Oh, Haytham, is that you?
Huh? Are our friendships that shallow?
Sino.
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue.
Is it Sino? Sino, please don't tell me it is you. Please, bro.
Sino, you're the reason why they can predict our movements.
Huh? Don't tell me you did it.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next words very carefully.
It is simply a logical inference. I have my reasons.
You seem to...
So what you're saying is... Sino's the mole.
Maybe he doesn't know that he's the mole.
Interesting. And here I thought you were the most suspicious one, Al-Haytham.
Yeah, same.
Since you were always acting alone.
Okay, Sino, remove your hat. Maybe there is a tracking device on your hat.
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Sino isn't like any of us.
Okay, what do you
What
mean
are you
by
trying
that?
to say?
Yeah.
Do you still remember who you are, General Mahamatra?
Huh?
As a Matra, you are no doubt privy to certain kinds of information. Before you can take action against someone, you are required to have all the facts available, including the less than savory details. Simply put, the academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing their modus operandi, wouldn't you expect them to take precautions against you?
That's true. That's true. That's true.
If you want to raise a vicious wolf, you need to make sure that you can avoid its bite.
The academia is monitoring me?
It's not that simple. The academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have a special protocol for dealing with you. Every so often comes a Nyagarbaha Day. On this day, the academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules. I remember seeing the thick notebook next to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra, his activities throughout the day, preferred methods of enacting judgment, everything.
You're saying that the academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But
Yeah.
what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't important enough to be added into the Akasha.
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would depart, the route you would follow, your destination. It knew all of this.
So it predicted everything.
Predicted my every move.
God damn it.
The academia has been watching you longer than you think. However, the fact that you resigned is proof that their suspicions were well-founded.
So that's how it is. Sino adheres to his principles so strongly that he's actually a thorn in their side.
Yeah.
Tenacity of will and steadfast faith are worthless to the academia. They need scholars who are easily pliable and mindlessly go after anything they can profit from. Sino, don't take it to heart. This just proves how much of a trustworthy ally you are.
They escaped because of me.
Yeah.
Blame yourself.
It ain't your fault, bro.
Any of us would have known.
I have an idea.
Okay, what is it?
If they predicted my movements, then I might be able to guess where they went.
Whoa, you bounced back fast.
Yeah.
There is always an opportunity for safety after danger passes.
Oh, so that's how it is. Paimon gets it now. If the academia is trying to avoid Sino, then the safest place would be...
One step behind him.
Yep, that's right.
They'll want to proceed in the direction opposite of where I'm going.
You're getting smarter, Paimon. Dear, what is it?
I must go.
There's also something I want to investigate.
What is it?
Let's go, guys. After him.
Please, wait! I want to go too!
Do you really think we can?
You want to go too? If so, you have to promise you'll stay safe.
Candace!
I want to find Grandpa. I promise I'll be careful and not cause any trouble.
Everyone, I leave him in your hands.
Candace.
Yay! Let's go! Remember to pack some food with you. Paimon feels like we're missing someone, though.
Dehya. What is it?
There's
Okay,
something here. What's this?
It's buried in the sand. Looks like we'll need to roll up our sleeves and do some work.
And Paimon thought running around everywhere was already enough work.
Now isn't the time for complaining, Paimon.
Okay. So, we have to dig it out? Whatever's down there looks like it's buried really deep.
With effort, you managed to retrieve the buried objects.
These are likely fragments of an Academia-developed device, something akin to a headset.
Huh?
Looks like there were more than one village keeper. They must have been escorted this way, because there are device fragments scattered around here.
It looks like the crown of 3.5 or 3.6 of that event. I forgot it was which one.
Let's split up and search the area. Chances are that we'll find other things nearby.
Yep. Everyone goes in a different direction and start digging in the sand. After a short while, you'll dig up another device nearby.
Is this what we're searching for? It looks kind of scary.
This is definitely a device used to extract divine knowledge.
How did it end up buried in the sand? That can't have been part of the plan. They must have been attacked along the way.
Wait, what?
Grandpa, I hope you're okay.
Yep.
Don't worry, your grandpa's gonna be fine.
Razak didn't display any signs of starvation or dehydration, which means that they left fairly recently.
We should be able to catch up.
One more thing. Given that the device had been entirely covered by sand, I believe the attack must have happened prior to the sandstorm.
True.
Let's keep going. They can't have gone far.
Ugh, but running on sand is so tiring.
But you're flying, aren't you, Paimon? Is flying over sand tiring too?
Ugh, of course it is.
I'll never understand Paimon.
Voices, over there. It sounds like an argument.
Whoa, you have really good ears.
I can't move my controller.
Don't get any closer. They'll notice us.
Dehya's talking with the Eremites? Very interesting.
Ooh,
Let's listen in.
so that's why she went
If you had
first.
informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room for us to...
You're one of us. We would never lie.
Scholars. You don't know as much as I do. Need me to...
I knew it. That's our Dehya.
Dehya? Why would you? Dehya!
Oh, Isaac.
What are you doing?
Huh?
Didn't you say you'd help me find Grandpa? Why are you on their side?
Well, look who's here. Ain't that something?
This complicates things.
You've betrayed Aru village.
So, this is the great General Mahamatra. Dehya, you'd be better off as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew. Seen for yourself. I have the means and methods, and my ideals are far more admirable than theirs.
I'm not the type that's easily swayed, Raman. You of all people should know that.
Wait, what's going on, Dehya? Whose side are you on here?
Shut it, Paimon.
It doesn't matter. Whichever side you pick, nothing can deter us from the grand mission of resurrecting King Deshret. Once our Lord of Old returns to this land, we will have a new beginning.
Face the facts, Raman. It's not gonna happen. You should understand that more than anyone. Have all your years as a merc taught you nothing about placing hopes in a ruler?
I'm a desert dweller and a proud follower of King Deshret. Whether I live by the edge of the sword or in peaceful comfort, my soul will always carry this conviction.
It's not too late yet. The village mad scholars aren't gonna bring King Deshret back to life.
You don't understand, my dear lady. Pursuing our faith is our purpose in life. Even if the chance of success is 1 in a million, we must be willing to give everything we have.
That was so
Even
beautiful.
if it'll expose you to the academia? Even if they end up disbanding the Eremites? Your Eremites, which you've worked so hard for all these years?
Yes. We've waited a long time for this day to come. The sun and the moon no longer shine here. All you see now is cracks in this desiccated land. But fate has finally dealt me a hand to play against the academia. With these scholars in our custody, we'll stomp the academia's forces and fight our way beyond the wall of Samiel.
Ridiculous. Think about it. The academia controls the entirety of Sumeru. Your powers are negligible in comparison. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these 2 men. They're also against the academia, but neither of them are as arrogant as you are.
Yep.
They look more like pawns of the academia to me. Why would I listen to anything the people of Greater Lord Rukkhadevada have to say? Filthy traitors. Your god abandoned all honor and betrayed King Deshret. We desert dwellers will never trust the likes of you.
It's impossible to communicate with someone so hostile. Perhaps we should.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the academia? These people have no value as bargaining chips, but I could be persuaded to take their place as your next hostage. These scholars were exiled from the academia. I, on the other hand, am their current scribe, and will be a much greater asset to you.
Wait, you can't be serious.
So, you want to trade places with the hostages, do you?
Precisely. Any wise person would gladly accept my offer.
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe the scholars, perhaps even find out the truth.
Think you can talk me over with that confident look of yours?
I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm using this as a means of joining forces against the academia.
You are the scribe. What do you have against the academia?
Not all desert dwellers believe in King Deshret, and the same applies to the academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the academia's way of doing things?
Oh, you are manipulating them, I say. Go on. Talk your shit, bro.
You academia scum. Every last one of you is nothing but a hypocrite, just like everyone else on the other side of that wall. I've made myself clear enough. I won't listen to another word from the Dendro Archon's people.
Not so fast. I'll hate them. Do you stand by everything you just said?
I never make empty promises.
You know you're making a dangerous decision, right?
I do.
Good. Raman, hear me out. These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at their word, but what about me? Do you trust me?
We've known each other for years. Of course I do.
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm. Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the academia, you need to steel yourself. You can't be afraid.
An arm from the Flame Mane. You've piqued my interest. But what if you refuse to oblige? What should I do then? No one's a fool here, Dehya. We're mercs. The mercs don't tend to live long unless they have their wits about them.
You're not wrong, but this is different. I promised my friends that we'd bring back the village keepers together.
Let's do it right here then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Don't listen to him! He's not even trying to negotiate! He just wants to make things more difficult!
Somebody stop him.
That's fine.
Somebody will stop him. I'm sure.
Are you crazy?
We came here to save lives. One arm for that many people is still a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Rahman, I'm holding up my end of the deal here. You'd better not let me down.
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
No! Dehya, what are you gonna do? Think of something!
Haytham, use your
You don't have
teleportation.
to go this far.
It's not for you to decide.
Do it.
It is for me to decide, girl. You should not lose your hand, Dehya! Nigero! Somebody! Everybody, do something. What the fuck?
Stop.
Mid swing? How would you? How is that?
What's wrong? Can't do it?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk.
How in the fuck?
Cutting off your arm is no different than cutting off my own fingers.
How in the fuck did you stop mid swing,
Where's
bro?
the sense in cutting my own kin to pieces?
Yeah, that's true.
You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take your friends and leave. Meet me in the desert at noon tomorrow.
Time for the master stroke.
Phew. I was really counting on him not going through with it.
Dehya! That was crazy! Have you all lost your minds? What if he'd actually cut your arm off?
Then I just have to hold my claymore with my left arm.
Please, don't do that ever again.
Okay, I'm sorry. But sometimes when you're out on a limb, you gotta double down to seal the deal, you know?
Don't ever make a promise like that again. I can deal with the likes of them. If it came down to it, you would not lose to them either.
I don't doubt it, Sino. But this is about more than me and them. There's a lot more where they came from. Even if we got rid of one bunch of radicals, there are others out there. Wiping them out would do more harm than good.
As you wish.
I'm sorry, Dehya. I should have stayed put and listened. I should have trusted you.
It's okay. I promised you I'd help find your grandpa, so I'll do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes? You just might be scholar material.
Huh? Are you serious?
The Aromats once said that I was a lunatic. Perhaps a little madness is essential to be successful in research.
Why does it feel like he's using his praise for me as an excuse to brag about himself?
I think he was just stating the truth.
Okay, let's get moving. We should head back to the village and rest up. Today was just a trial run. Noon tomorrow is gonna be the hard part.